Ladies, so your lesson 2 combination is Golden Era Oriental Dance Style Combination. So what is Golden Era? Let's talk about that. So Golden Era is Oriental dance style that was developed during the first half of the 20th century, and to be exact with the dates, it was 1920s to 1950s. So there is a very important name in the history of this dance, and that name is Badia Masabni. Badia Masabni was a dancer and a businesswoman who actually established one of the most historic and famous cabarets of Egypt, which was called Casino Opera, and she hired dancers to dance there to entertain clientele. So what she did, she worked with the dancers she hired to create a new Oriental dance style that was a mix of Oriental folklore dances like Shabi, Baladi, Gavazi, mixed with Western influenced dances. For example, Latin dance, ballet, marching bands, and others. So this hybrid dance style was developed over a certain period of time by those dancers, and it was performed in those cabarets to entertain clientele of wealthy people, mostly men, of course. Because the clientele was wealthy men, of course, the technique of that style was very soft, was very feminine, beautiful, expressive, flirty, sexy. It's very sexy for that time. So there is several names that we have to remember when we learn about this style, and one of the most famous dancers of that time is Samia Gamal. There is also another dancer, Naima Akif, and then there is Tahia Karioka, and also there is Nagwa Fuad, and another very famous dancer, Zoher Zaki. So one of the most famous dancers is Samia Gamal. She was also an actress, and she was featured as well as the others also. They were featured in movies, and they were loved, and up until this day they are like very, very famous. They have famous representation of Egyptian. As I said at the beginning, that was the time of rapid development of cinema, and many of these dancers were featured in the movies, so they began their actress careers, and that's where the popularity of the style came from. And that's why the style was known by people, and a lot of dancers and a lot of women in the world were trying to learn this dance style. Also, when we study Golden Era dance, it's a very complex dance style. So this dance style studies each of these famous dancers who represent the style separately. They have all of them have their own style, as well as there is like a complex style that takes a little from each of them, and that is also called Golden Era style. So at this point, what we're doing, I'm trying just to introduce you to the style, so we're not going to study each dancer separately. We're just gonna learn a combination that represents the style in general, and hopefully we'll get to the time when we can study each of these dancers separately, go over the details of their personal style, and see what's interesting about that style.